X1041 MixTV.tv. Good morning, everybody. Coming up on 8:40. Right now we have Jimmy Logan in the studio. Of course, Logan Thompson. Good morning.
Good morning, Bridget. What a very lovely morning outside. We understand that is the temperature going to get up to 90-something again?
Yes, it is.
And, of course, it feels a little warmer than that. They call it a heat index,
Yes.
I understand. Lawyers are not supposed to know those things except in specific cases. We at Logan Thompson are really very pleased with our opportunity to come and visit with you, and I'm so grateful that you've kept Steve out of the office
Yes.
for a long time.
You're welcome.
And this story about him trying to throw a baseball, as I was passing by Cleveland High School coming out, I think Steve's out there practicing.
Probably. I think that was him, yes. Oh, it's not going to be good.
Oh, it's not. But what I'm here today about is two things. One is the significance of education law. And folks really do not seem to really be involved as a public as to how we implement the laws that govern us with reference to that and what impacts we can have on our state legislators to continue to enhance the education opportunities in the state of Tennessee, and particularly in the public school systems. It's a fascinating thing. And I'm still thinking about Steve Bivens and his contributions to our state and to Bradley County specifically by serving on the school board. So when I began to look at some of the things that Steve Bivens worked on, his service in the legislature until 92 was just fantastic, and he was always involved in education law. And where we have gone with that, there's still a lot of controversy about education law in Tennessee. I just happened upon a little article which talked about the differences in how we've changed over the years. You know, we used to elect the superintendent of schools, and today we have a different process, and a large part of that is attributable to some of the work which Steve Bivens did, both in the legislature and in his role as an educator in Bradley County, serving on the county school board. There was an election, and it was very, a lot of people didn't like the fact that we were changing from an elected superintendent of schools and we were going to a school board. And Steve Bivens and Walter Presswood, a lot of leadership in that regard. Those of us who've known Steve Bivens for a long time appreciate his contributions to the quality of life and to the improvements in education law. It seems that it has become highly controversial, as we know, with our state senator and our state legislators in the state legislature. In the House, they took different positions with reference to the changes which were made this past session of our legislature. I don't know if the general public really understood the differences in those two pieces of legislation. And I'm told that there will be some looking back at that. Folks, lawyers can argue about what words ought to be used, but it's your impact on our legislators which make a difference in all aspects of our law. And specifically in Steve's actions, he constantly wanted people to be aware of the positions that existed. Steve was a very influential member of our community, and his work for Bradley County will be reviewed again and again over the years. I had the privilege of having a little photograph which was taken at the at a meeting at a more ostentatious place with Steve Bivens, but he was so widely respected. The governors loved Steve Bivens as he served. folks, I understand that today many people are not aware of all of the facts that they would like to make the decisions. We are influenced by our legislators, oftentimes, to pass legislation or to defeat legislation without true knowledge of what the impact will be. I think that we will go back to having more forums regarding those things, but the last few that we've had, the public was not there at many of those forums, Bridget. What do we do to cause the citizens of our community to be more involved in knowing what the positions and the impact of changes in legislation will be? I do not have the answers. You're young enough to help us get the answers which we need always. And thank you for the work that MyMix 104.1 does in trying to keep us educated with reference to what the true opportunities are and who is being impacted most by the decisions that we make. And folks, it's all about being involved and knowing what you should do to support pieces of legislation. And you can make a difference. I've been friends with legislators for years, and I know that they listen when the public gives them a call or just drops a note explaining what the position is that that individual has. And you can change the position of legislators every 4 years for one, 2 years for the other, much like our national legislation is. Bridget, it's a beautiful day out there, but let us never forget that the responsibility for what occurs in courts, for what takes place, rests on the citizens who have to be involved. And as we listen to the election returns this past year, we know that the returns in our local races were not heavily attended. Votes were not that big. So that's my remembrance of Steve Bivens, and I encourage people. It is this weekend, this Friday night. Many of us and many of the members of our community will be participating in observing amongst the folks who appear what Steve Bivens has done in this community, for our community and for our state. His lovely wife will be present. She's coming over from Nashville, and I think that his children will be here as well. They took up residence in Nashville when Steve decided he was going to start lobbying, and he's got his sons involved, and they are great young men doing great jobs. You can just look it up. Bivens legislation and the Bivens and Associates is a great, great lobbying team over in Nashville today. Okay, Bridget, what do you think about should we have a lot of folks out this is it this afternoon where Steve's going to be throwing out the first pitch?
The Lookouts game tonight.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if the crowd may be great or it may be very small, and I'm not talking about Steve's size.
Right. Jimmy Logan, Thompson Law, thank you so much for coming in. Good to see you.
Love it.